Hello and a very warm welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to show you what we do with our dahlias if they're not showing any signs of life. We've potted them up a good month or so ago and still nothing's happening. Let's see what we can do. It can be really frustrating when you're planting your dahlia tubers in that hope that you're going to get some beautiful flowers in the summertime and they're just sat there and there's nothing happening. This is an example. This was potted up at the same time as the other tubers that we potted up, probably beginning of April time, and it's just sat there and nothing's happening. I'm going to go back to that in a minute. On the other hand, ones like this, which was potted up around the same time as that, are now springing into life. They've got all these lovely shoots. There's more shoots coming from the base. And you're wondering what is going on? Why is this happening? And why is that not showing any signs of life? And the same can be said, I mean, that's the better one from this one, because this one is starting to sprout. That's got one shoot on it. And you look at this one and you think, what is happening? Nothing is happening, that's the case. Or so you think. So the problem with these is you first look at it and think there's no signs of life. There's no shoots starting to grow and you're wondering what is going on. Is there something wrong? Is the dahlia dead? Is it worth chucking away? And the question is anything happening underneath the soil? Because although there's no signs of growth on the top, the tubers should be really busily away producing roots down below underneath the soil. And it's not until that those roots start to develop that you usually see shoots coming up through the top. There's also different timings of tubers waking up. So when you first pot them on, you could have multiple tubers of the same variety, but each one will take its own time to wake back up again after the dormant period. So you may have two of the same variety, like this one here, which is Josie. You may have bought more than one Josie dahlia, and this one's showing really good signs of growth, and maybe the other ones are not. And that's just because they do take their own time to start to sprout. And in reality, that can be anything from up to maybe 2 or 3 weeks to maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks. So don't despair. But on this one, this has been here maybe 3, 4 weeks. And I'm looking underneath and I cannot see any signs of roots. So to all intents and purposes, nothing's happening. But what I am going to do is upturn the pot and I'm going to actually see visibly if there is signs of life. So up we go like that. I'm going to be very careful, and lo and behold, particularly on this side, you can see it from that side, I'll just bring it close to the camera. Lo and behold, there is a lovely root system starting to develop. So the dahlia isn't dead, it's just putting down roots before it starts putting the shoots up. So in terms of what you need to do, basically nothing. What you do need to do is just keep an eye on the watering. Now this is peat-free compost, and the thing with peat-free compost is it can be very dry on the surface, but underneath, and you can see from my hands they are wet from the soil, the compost underneath that I've just upturned. If you do kind of put your finger in the side and just poke it down and check to see if there is moisture. Now there is moisture below that crusty surface. At this stage, don't be tempted to overwater. Overwatering is one of the worst things that can kill your dahlia tubers. Ideally, these should not be watered until you start to see signs of growth on the top. So when you first plant them, give them a full of water, and then unless they're growing in very hot conditions, so maybe you've got them in a very warm greenhouse, or you've got them inside your kitchen which is heated, ideally you want to be checking the moisture, but you want to be checking it below the surface. So just move the top surface away and put your finger down the side and see if there is moisture. If there's moisture, they're not dry and they do not need to be watered. That's one of the main things that can kill dahlias. Because the tubers, until they're actively growing and producing those lovely shoots at the top, you don't want to have the possibility of them getting overwatered and then rotting. That's one of the worst things you can do. Now, just in the process of moving some of these, I have noticed that there is the beginnings of a little shoot. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. I'll just point it out to you. It's just there. Little red bud starting to grow. So there's signs of life, not only in the root system, but also if you do kind of brush away, being very, very careful, some of the top compost and just having a look to see if you can see any shoots developing. So in terms of that is doing really, really well. We're just going to leave that back where it was. They are growing in quite a warm area because it's our summer house behind me, and when we do get warm days it does get quite hot in there. So there's plenty of heat to get them going, and it's just a case of monitoring the watering so you're not over watering and making sure when you do water, you are watering but then letting that water flow through the plant pot, drain out the bottom. They're not sat in water at all, and making sure that they are only watered when they're needed to be watered and not being watered just because the top surface is looking dry. So like I've said, if after maybe 6-7 weeks you're still not getting signs of life, and if there's not a root system there, just maybe breaking away some of the compost around the tuber and just seeing if there is any rot that's happening. By 6-7 weeks you're bound to be getting some root growth, and if you're not getting root growth by that point, there is something wrong. So you do need to be looking and inspecting the tuber in the compost. You just need to double check to make sure that the tuber is still healthy. If there is parts of the tuber which are squishy but other parts that are okay, just try discarding those, cut them off and just repot and replant on the ones that are okay, and hopefully they will survive. If it's a case of the whole tubers are mushy and squishy, discard it, try again. And it's one of those things that is not very good. It's, you know, the dahlia tubers aren't cheap, particularly if you buy them at full price. We tend to wait till the sales come on. It just means that a little bit longer to wait for those sales to happen. But you do get good tubers and you get them at a reasonable price. So I do hope this video has helped in understanding how dahlia tubers grow, and that the fact that the roots may form before you're seeing the top growth, and it's not a bad thing if you're not seeing any top growth just yet. I do hope it's kind of helped you to understand that and help to put your mind at rest that your dahlia tubers, if they're showing no signs of life like this one was, it's not really a big issue. They are growing underneath the soil, they're just not put the shoots above the soil out just yet. So I'll leave the video there, and please like the video, please hype the video, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and if you've got any comments, please drop those in the comments box below the video. We will see you very, very soon on the next one. In the meantime, do take care and happy gardening.